Hi, y'all. This is Mr. Gowerluck here, and I wanted to talk to you about dividing fractions. And that's something that we've spent a lot of time in class today and yesterday discussing. So if you need to see it again, or if you want to have an idea what some problems might look like and give you extra practice, here's an example. We've been multiplying problems like 5 and a fourth divided by 3, or 1/3, I'm sorry. We've been taking problems like, this one's a little more advanced, 3.5 divided by 4. There may be times in life where you have to take a quantity and divide it into another quantity. And I'll give you an example of that. Say your bowling team had a party, and there's 10 pizzas that were ordered. 6.5 were eaten. So, of course, that means there's going to be 3.5 left, right? And there's some kids who want to split things up. But they want to make it fair. No fighting, no throwing bowling balls at each other or grabbing a bowling pin and going whack on top of the head, that kind of thing. So let's say you have your bowling team and you have 10 pizzas, 6.5 were eaten, 4 friends split what's left. And so what are they taking home? What might that look like? And we know that there might be 10 pizzas, and we're going to get rid of 6.5 of them. Gone, 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 and half of this is gone, which leaves one whole and a half for 3.5. So hopefully you're still with me on that. So what we need to be thinking of doing is taking that 3.5, and I just had that here. 3.5 divided by 4. There it is. 3.5 pizzas split amongst 4 people. And you could draw it out. That'd be fine. Might be a little confusing. You might have to take a look at what you're going to end up doing for how you're going to split those pizzas up. But there's a mathematical, simple, quick way to solve this. If we take 3.5 and we turn it into an improper fraction, it would say 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And our improper fraction here would be 7/2. Now, this might be one step that gets kids frustrated. They can't remember how to change it to an improper fraction. When we divide by numbers, we have to do a flip and flip. We're going to flip that sign to a multiply. And this technically was 4/1. Now it becomes a flipped to 1/4. So you ask yourself, when we multiply, what's 7 times 1? 7. What's 2 times 4? 8. Each kid's going to get 7/8 of a pizza. Now, that might cause some fighting because a little sliver's gone from each one, and they're like, hey, how are we gonna show that when we draw it out? We have 3.5 left here. How do we show that 3.5 pizzas get split properly? We each get 7/8 of a pizza. Well, that's up to the challenge of what we've been doing this past week. We've been taking problems and we've been drawing things out to help us with the understanding of what it means when you divide something by a quantity of 1/3. That means how many groupings of 1/3. So you have, you take a circle, you divide it into 3 parts. In that 1/3 grouping, how many 1/3 groupings can you make out of 5 1/4 things? So if we take each one of those 5 and 1/4, and I take that 3/4 of this last one out of the equation, it's not even part of it. Otherwise, we'd have 6. But we have 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So there's 3. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. There's 3. 1/3 and 1/3 and 1/3. There's another 3. So far we're up to 3, 6, 9. 1/3 and 1/3 and 1/3. That's 3 more. So that's 12. 1/3 and 1/3 and 1/3. So that's 15. Now we have to get 1/3, but we only have 1/4 here. So this is the 4th, but 1/3 would technically bring us to this blue line. So what we've discovered is that we almost can make another 1/3. Not quite. We can make 3/4 of 1/3. 3/4 of 1/3. That's where a lot of people go, oh. Anyway, and I know someone's going to pause and freeze the video on that, and they're going to say, oh, nice job, Mr. G. That was great. Anyway, but let me show you what 5 1/4 divided by 1/3 looks like mathematically. I changed 5 1/4 to 21/4. Okay, so I had 4 times 5 plus 1. That's my 21/4. And I need to do a flip and a flip. So I'm going to take that divided by, and I'm going to turn it into a multiply. I'm going to take that 1/3. I'm going to make it 3/1. That's what I get here. And I multiply across 63/4. I reduce or I simplify. How many 4s fit into 63? Well, I know 4 times 10 is 40. And half of 40 is 20. So I can get 15 4s, which gets me up to 60, with 3 left over 4 as my answer. Okay? And that's where that 3/4 comes in, which sometimes can be hard to understand. But remember when we were looking for groupings of 1/3? We were almost at 1/3 here, but not quite. We got 3/4 of the 1/3. 3/4 of the 1/3. But so hopefully that helps you. Just as a off the beaten path kind of problem here. Let's say we have 2.5 things, and we want to divide those 2.5 things into 1/4. Simple problem, 2.5 divided by 1/4. I need to take that 2.5 and say, all right, 2 times 2 is 4, add the 1. I have 5/2, and then I need to flip. To get my equation to work properly so I can multiply across. 4 times 5 is 20. 2 times 1 is 2. So out of 2.5, if I'm looking for groupings of 1/4, I can get 10 of those groupings. And that's what we're doing in math. Hopefully that makes sense. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check if there's some other videos out there that can give you a hand. But there's a lot of places you can go that'll help you with multiplying fractions. You can go to Khan Academy. You can go to MrVanJoskiIsGreat.com. There's a lot of places you can go. So have a great day, and thank you for paying attention to this. And if you have any questions, put it in the comment. That's where a lot of people go. That's where a lot of people go. That's where a lot of people go.